thank you very much for doing this, dude. I know you're a busy
Yeah, yeah.
guy.
Thanks for having me. Sorry, we got a little mixed up earlier. Or yesterday, I was sitting in traffic for hours trying to get my car back, and just stupid stuff. But
Yeah, what happened with your car?
well, it's been in the shop for this wobble that we thought was the CV joint, and then it turned out maybe it's, I don't know. We haven't totally figured it out because it's still there, and I still feel like maybe it's a CV joint. I don't know. It's not that interesting,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's home now, and I'm driving it. So
That's all that matters.
yeah,
I had a 1993 Ford Bronco.
yeah.
I got in 2017 until earlier this year, and it was the coolest piece of shit I've ever owned. Just problems every month, and it's like at first, like I'll spend a few $1,000s and I'll have this cool truck, and I don't really drive a lot, so it'll be fine. But nope, it's always the money pit. And I
Yeah.
ended up replacing the brakes with my buddy who knew a lot about cars, and then some kind of joint underneath there. I don't know. Replaced the window motors, everything. But I finally got rid of it. Some dude was really stoked. He looked like he was straight out of Sons of Anarchy.
Well, what year was it again?
93.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was the
That's-
OJ model.
Oh, wow. Oh, they stopped making that one, right?
Yeah,
I think didn't they stop
95 was
making
the
it?
last year.
They stopped making it because of the bad press, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if that was true or not.
Probably.
I don't know much about that stuff.
I don't either. I'm not a car guy. I'm not a motorcycle guy. I've never even ridden one.
Yeah.
I just like turned it on, take me to point A to point B. That was the only time I bought something that was cool, and I got a lot of compliments on it, which was weird because I don't know how to talk about it.
I also was a drive get me from point A to point B guy. I drove Corollas forever, or just Toyotas in general. And I got a Volkswagen Golf, and I actually love it now. And unfortunately, now I'm like, I love the driving this car, but I've had all these problems with it. So I think it's just my bad luck with the car, but it's been it's been in the shop a lot. But I do love the car. So and I'm not a car guy either. But I've learned a lot about the car from having problems with it. So I've learned about cars from the problems, because driving Corollas is never an issue.
Toyota, you don't have to worry about shit, right?
Yeah, you get the oil changed and that's it. So I never thought about anything. I was just like, oh, it gets me where I need to go. Good. That's something I don't have to think about.
Do you
Plenty
know
of
about
nerdy
that?
things I will think about, but not that.
There's like a model of a Toyota pickup truck that looks really sick, but it's not available in America. Do you know what I'm talking about? I've seen it on the internet a few times. It looks like kind of small, but
those the Japanese ones, they're like it has a tiny little bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a whole community of people that are really into those older, and I'm not talking out of my ass because I don't really know what I'm talking about, but they're into those older Japanese model vans and pickups that are like weird little utilitarian vehicles that are cool as hell.
Yeah.
They are pretty cool. And people are keeping them running for way well past the time that they should be.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, obviously there was like a guy who got his, that guy who got his Honda, was it a Honda Civic, to 1 million miles? Like it went over the 9999.
Oh my
He's
God.
maybe in the Midwest somewhere. I can't remember where he was. That'll never happen here in the Northeast. There's too much salt in the road. The car will never last that long, but it's cool that people do that. I like not wasting shit, keeping things as long as possible.
Yeah, it was fun to get my hands dirty and learn shit because I knew nothing. Like I figured out how to change my oil. That was all I did like years ago.
Yeah.
And so when I go over to my buddy's house, he's like, yeah, we'll just get the saw out and just start ripping shit out. And like I'm like, are you sure? And then we took apart, I don't know, is it the drive chain that goes under the center? And there was like a link that was broken in there.
Yeah.
So I bought that online and we replaced it in a few hours one day. It probably saved me thousands of dollars. But I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, oh, like it feels good to like be a real man for a day.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of the time the parts are expensive or whatever, but the work is like you're paying somebody by the hour, and it's going to take several hours to do that. If
Yeah.
you could suffer through it, or you have the gear for it, or the help, I think about that all the time. Like, what can I do? I don't have the tools. That's
Yeah.
part of it.
You need the
And
tools,
like
the space.
the space, yeah. And like, so I don't know, but it's something I think about because I think a lot about fixing stuff more now. And, guitars or amps or pedals or computers or anything I have, I'm like, I want everything to last. I'd rather modify it to
Yeah. Are you
last.
good with electronics and shit? Because I've soldered a
Not,
few wires. Other than that, I don't.
I'm pretty, like, my soldering ability is kind of, it's okay. I mean, I can make things work. It's not the prettiest. I'm learning. I'm like trying to, develop my ability there. I'm definitely sort of a jack of all trades with the
Yeah.
stress on the master of none part.
Oh, dude, same here with
But
work and everything. I'm always just like,
yeah,
whatever pays the bills, I'll do it. And then I
yeah,
never get really, really good at anything.
yeah, yeah. But sometimes, but you have a lot of skills, and that's helpful, I guess. Yeah, like lately I've been like, you know what, maybe that's not such a bad thing. I'm gonna just try to pick up as many skills as possible.
Yeah.
Some of them I'll be good at, some of them I won't be. But
Yeah, you just need to find like someone that really needs you for something, and then you just go down that rabbit hole, and that eventually becomes the one thing you make the most money from. It's
yeah,
tough because I'm always like, I'll do a website, I'll edit a video, I'll do graphic design, I'll do social
yeah,
media, and then I'm all just all over the place. I don't have the time to master everything.
yeah. But then once in a while, one of those things takes you a little further, and you get a little better at one of those things,
Yeah.
which is kind of nice.
What do you do for work? I can't remember.
I'm mostly free. Well, I'm a freelance. I would have said freelance audio engineer, but in the last few years I've gotten more into video work. Um, I'm doing live streams for clients and some editing, and I've shot some live events and stuff. That's a thing that I didn't ever plan on doing.
Yeah.
I messed around. I took a TV production class in high school, and I had a cable access show growing up. Like, I did stuff like that, but when I started getting into more freelance audio work, a friend of mine was like, most of the audio guys we have don't want to do video, but we have a lot of work for that. So I was like, well, that's an opportunity to get, jobs or whatever. And yeah, so I'm doing all this video work now, and it's one of those things. I'm like, I didn't expect to be doing this. I'm learning about, um, I'm learning about things I never planned.
Yeah.
But it's been interesting because it's kind of fun to be a little out of your wheelhouse, I guess. I don't know. So
It
I'm
is, especially if it's something you're interested in.
yeah, and I've gotten more interested in it as time has gone on, and it really isn't that different from mixing audio. It's a lot of the timelines and the stuff you're working with, the software you're working with there's a lot of similarities, and obviously they're intertwined.
Yeah, especially with editing and like you're dealing with audio in both, and like making things overlap as you're changing scenes and edit. It's all very similar. I use like CapCut. I do very basic editing, but I got into it because of doing this, and I'm like, oh shit, I have to post clips or no one's gonna know I do this, so I had to figure that out. And then I got into it for work too. I would go and shoot like Joe, our bass player, his wife Sarah owned a salon, so I was doing that for a while, coming in and shooting them, and like the customers would come in and do like kind of little interviews and stuff. But it was really cool to get into that, and I was like, oh, I think I like video editing a lot. It's fun.
Yeah. I do. I actually enjoy editing video. I think probably more than editing audio. Mixing is fun. Editing audio is not fun, but editing video, yeah, it's kind of I don't know. I definitely, I had an experience kind of like yours. I was like, things just, it was necessary. And obviously we're musicians. So it's as the world becomes harder for us to just be musicians, we have to do all this other crap. So we have to get good at all these other skills that maybe we never planned on doing, but like we're making.
I wanted to ask you about that because I saw you had a Patreon, and I know you stream on Twitch and stuff. And like, the world for musicians is quite different now than when, you know, back in the mid 2000s when we were touring a lot and whatever. So like sometimes I hate it, sometimes I enjoy it, and I wanted to get your take because I watched one of your like Patreon previews or whatever, and you're like, I don't know how to intro this. So, and I'm like, that's exactly how I feel when I did this. I used to try to do the intros and be like, the guest today is whatever. I'm like, oh, I feel like such a fucking fart. Like,
like a radio guy, like, yeah, we're doing the whatever. Yeah. And like,
yeah, I can't.
Realistic. The way I look at it is that I don't do an intro for stuff half the time. I don't care, you know, like, not to go on, 100 tangents here, but if I'm looking something up on YouTube and I'm looking to do something, like how do I put this sink faucet in, like I don't want the video to be titled installing a kitchen sink faucet and then have the person go, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be installing a kitchen sink faucet. As you know by the title, like just start right away. Because chances are the person is like, I just need to see this happen. I just need a quick video. And there's so much dilly-dallying. I know that, the length of the video has an effect on how many minutes you stream on, YouTube wants you to have more minutes and all that crap. And I don't know.
Yeah, they'll have like an animated graphic intro, and they'll give you the history of sinks first, and it's like, just tell me how to do the one fucking thing I'm here for. Like someone who would just do that channel would crush it.
Or like bullshit. The same thing with like before videos, it was like blogs that have like a recipe, and it's like, and you're like, oh, it's a recipe for arancini, and then but it starts off with, when I was a kid, I stayed at my grandfather's summer home. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm looking for the arancini recipe. What are the ingredients? What are you putting in it? What do I need to buy? Like I'm looking at it, and there's so many ulterior motives, but like that same thing with this stuff. Like I don't need to do an intro because I don't want to watch that. And just like making music, you want to do something authentic because the person that you want, unless you're trying to just reach everybody, which I think is that's kind of a mistake. In general, the person you want to reach is probably kind of like you in some ways. And that's why they're going to want to check your shit out. Cause they're like, oh yeah, I think like that too. I want to watch that. Yeah. He doesn't care about the intro.
When I started this, I knew nothing about how to podcast or anything. I knew I was like, okay, I'll start with just where I'm at in music and cover the history, and the band's back together now, so I have things to talk about, and I think people will want to come and do this. So I started watching all those videos, and then you get really into like all the tips and tricks, and you realize like none of that shit actually matters. And it's like, if you have something people want, they will watch it, it will find its way around, and all the other little optimization and little things you do, it's to make a really good thing a little bit better, but it's not going to bring people in. And I had to just let all that go, because that's what I do for work, and like learn every little thing for social media and how to get a post to go off. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And it's like, if you're doing every one of those little things, they might all add up incrementally in these tiny little ways, but is it worth all the time to do every little tiny thing when you could just pump stuff out that's genuine, and I don't know. I know that everybody's like trying to play the algorithm game with everything, but they change the algorithm all the time. They change constantly based on things that we don't know about, or at least we don't learn about till later, till maybe it's too late. It's just, again, and it's just like, if you don't want to do it, you should want to be doing the part that you're doing, right? Like if you're making a record to have a record that's done, then that sucks. Like, I mean, that's fine, but you should be like, I love making music. I love playing music with my friends and having fun.
Yeah, or for your writing around music to try to hit a specific audience, or to hit, or to make money, which you can't even really do.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least in our world.
I definitely think like there's merit to that too. That it's fine. If you're just clocking in, that's fine. But, I don't know. I just find especially as I get older, I'm just like, there's not enough time to waste. There's not enough time to waste on shit like that,
I think
I want to say it was,
oh, that's what we're here to do. I want to say it was Bad Omens, and I don't mean to talk shit or anything, but I think they said we literally started this band as a business, and it like from day one,
Oh,
it was
right.
like we have the goal of having this look, this sound, whatever. I forget where I watched, like it was on the internet somewhere. So if I got the
Yeah.
band wrong, I'm sorry, but I don't think I did. But that's
Yeah.
mad respect for doing that. You're just saying this is what we're gonna do. It's a business. We're
Sure.
gonna treat it like this, and they're crushing. So good for them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna tell them what they're doing is right or wrong. It's not for me, you know.
Yeah.
I would never do that, but you know, who gives a shit what I think? You know,
Yeah.
like if they're doing what they want.
Yeah, everyone should be allowed to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
I think the key word, though, you said already was authentic. And when I had Zayo on, they said the same thing. We were talking about this. They were like, we never do videos on our social, like talking into the camera, because no one in the band is able to bring themselves to do it because it feels so contrived. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I get it. This has been very forced for me to start to even feel a little bit comfortable after a year now. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to do it, don't.
Yeah. I definitely, so there's definitely some getting used to that type of thing. I mean, getting used to even talking over video, you know, several years ago felt weird. Obviously, the pandemic kind of threw everybody into a place where where everyone's doing it. When I started doing Twitch, I felt a little weirdness of the fact that, well, I'm talking and there are people listening, but they're only typing, so I can't play off of their face or their reaction. So I'm just kind of guessing how they're reacting, like a text. And that is, at first that felt really unnatural because, like, well, I don't know, is that guy, does he think that's funny? What is it? Was he laughing at what I was saying? Was that annoying? When you're hanging out with somebody, or even a video like this, I can see your face and I can see how you react to something I say. So what ended up happening is it ended up being really tiring at first. And I remember having Greg on once in the early days. Greg and I haven't streamed much together in a while, but we were doing it regularly. In the beginning, we only streamed for like 2 hours playing a game. And afterwards we were exhausted. He was like, wow, I'm exhausted. I'm like, it's because you've been doing both sides of a conversation the whole time. You've been like, you're having a conversation with almost like an imagined person. There are real people there talking to us, but you're not getting their energy, and you're giving your energy. Like when you're on stage and you play a show and no one cares,
Yeah.
it takes a little bit more of your energy to do it rather than when people are like, fuck yeah, like, so it was draining at first until I kind of got into a rhythm where I'm like, oh, I'm just kind of performing. I'm not going to try to do that part because I'm not going to get a face. I'm not going to get somebody's like going up, nodding. I don't even know, like,
Yeah.
it's just a different dynamic. And
It's too much to have to like play your guitar and then look and then,
yeah,
or you could do it at the end, like, all right, let's chat a little bit, or something like that.
yeah, it ends up being, it's an interesting difference. But yeah, that's same with making videos online or whatever. It's like, if it does feel unnatural a lot of the time because I do kind of want the human, back and forth. But that's what makes things fun or funny. So, I don't know. Now, yeah. I don't know what I'm saying here, but
No, I did 1 or 2 live streams last year, and it was just too much on top of this because I was like committed to doing this 1 per week every week, and then you got to do the clips and the posts and the graphics and the thumbnails and all the titles, and you're posting everywhere. And I was like, I'll do a live stream every week too, and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck I'm going to talk about on there. So I did one like playing guitar, played a couple songs, and then I'm just sitting there like, this feels weird. I don't know. Like I think you need to either commit to one or the other. Unless this is your job and you're getting paid for all of it, then cool. But like, I'm definitely losing money doing this.
Yeah. Well, I definitely feel like there's 2 things you made me think of with the live streaming thing. If you're going to play music, I realize the best way to do it is to treat it like a show. You have a set list that you play. You have a finite amount of time that you're going to play. And then you have a talking part. You can talk a little during, but if you don't have much of a plan, then it kind of goes off the rails, and it's not as, just like if you were playing a show and you're like, what should we play next? And everybody's like, oh, they're all saying different things.
Yeah, that's smart.
I started treating it like that. It's like a longer show because I'd play for like couple hours. But I'm also just standing there, so it's not quite as tiring as playing a regular show. But then like, yeah, like the other thing that you said, splitting your time. When I started doing Twitch, I was also trying to do all this other stuff. I used to try to do voiceover work, and I did a little bit of voiceover work here and there, but I was also trying to get work writing like sync music or, writing for ads and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
But because I wasn't focusing on one, I wasn't really getting anywhere. I had to be like, I'm not a voice actor, I'm a musician. So as much as that would be fun, I gotta focus on this one thing. And I ended up getting some work making music for some stuff because of it. But if I had kept splitting it up too much, that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm like, I'm splitting my time a little more than I'd like. I'd like to focus on, less or one thing at a time more, rather than, there's 800 things happening. It's fun because you want to do everything, but you can't,
Yeah, I get all these ideas and like I want to do more video stuff on my own. I'm like, what if I shoot a short film? And I start getting all these ideas for shots and stuff, and I'm like, I don't have fucking time to do this and then this and then like our band is basically done with the reunion stuff. So I do have more time for
writing new stuff.
I'm writing on my own just for fun. I did like a heavy rock and roll project with our friend Mike, who was in the band Robinson with me way back when. And it's kind of like Clutch meets Mastodon, Queens of the Stone Age. So we did that, and then we'll probably do more of that this summer. And then the other day, I just wrote a death metal song for no reason and recorded that. I learned Modern and Massive 2 for drums, which sounds incredible. And I'm just fucking around. I don't really know what I'm going to do, but I just need to keep creating stuff because it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And
there's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. When you said write a death metal song just for the hell of it. There's a podcast. I only listen to, I think I only really listen to one podcast. And it's, are you familiar with the Blind Boy podcast? It's called it's called the Blind Boy podcast. Basically,
I don't think so.
He started out mostly as a musician, but he's made documentaries. It's a very hard to describe podcast. He's this dude from Limerick, Ireland, who talks about a whole bunch of stuff, lots of history related things and music, and everything kind of ties together in a weird, bizarre way. It's very entertaining, but also very helpful. And he talks a lot about making art or making music or whatever you're doing, being, especially lately, trying to like make this as not as, I'm trying to say this in not a million words, but basically the concept that he brings up a lot that I've been thinking about a lot is that making music or art or whatever you're making should be done for the sake of making it, not for the product, which is kind of what I said earlier. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to achieve the state of play. This thing he brings up all the time is being in the state of play where you're just enjoying yourself. Like when you're young, and maybe you still do this. I mean, you just wrote a death metal song just for the hell of it, so you are still doing this. But especially when you're younger and you're like, the first time you start playing music with like-minded friends and you're like, we could just make anything we want, and you're just having a blast, just recording every idea. You think, it doesn't matter if it's good or not, because you're in a state of play like a child is, where you're just doing it for the fun of doing it. And it's like, again, because we're musicians having to learn all these skills just to get by, to be musician. Everything else we do kind of trying to support the being able to achieve the state of play. We're still sitting in this place where people are like, well, what is are people going to like this record? It doesn't fucking matter. Like what matters is that you made it. And, I definitely, and now I'm kind of losing my point here, but like making a death metal song just because you felt like it and that felt good, that's exactly, in my opinion, that's exactly what you should be doing.
All the stuff on the peripheral, like you're adding to, just like you said, to get back to doing that. It's like you could just do that.
Yeah.
And just create to create. And like whenever I write a song, whether it's for a specific project or not, I just want to write a song that I would like to listen to that doesn't exist. That's how I always think about it and approach it.
Oh, that's exactly how I think about it too. Yeah.
Yeah, like I just want to hear, let me combine these two bands and these two inspirations and this idea. And like, oh, no one's ever done that. I would really like to listen to that. So I just
Yeah.
try to make it. And that's what I've always done. And that's
I
it.
love
And
that you said that, because it is it's the reason that I started my Doom project, Stomach Earth, because I was like, it was like 2000, 2001-ish, and there wasn't that much like funeral Doom stuff. And also this band Panthymonium that I love, that I sort of ripped off in the beginning. And I was just like, I want to hear more of this, but there isn't any. There's just not enough. I have everything I could find. I'm just going to have to make it so that I can have it. And that's like, yeah, it was literally just like, I'm just doing something fun that I want to do. And, you know, I find that, another thing that this dude Blind Boy says, he talks about how when he sits down to make something, he tries to fail because, well, I'll just write something stupid because that's funny. And then stuff starts to really, because the second you try to fail and you try to make something that's goofy, you let go of the idea of what it needs to be, and you just start creating things for the hell of it. When you start thinking about, well, I have to do it, I have to make my best work, then you won't. You never will.
Exactly. That just
You know?
made me think of, there's a riff in that death metal song where I was like, what part do I go into next? And because I'm not really a death metal guy and I've never really written straightforward death metal, and I'm sure if I played it, someone out on the internet would tell me why it's not real death metal or whatever the fuck it actually is. But to me, it's more straightforward death metal and it's heavy. And I got to this part after like this tremolo picking part that's really evil sounding. And I was like, what do I do? So I went to like a D beat and I just went, nah, 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 nah. It almost sounds like circusy. And it was at first to me, it was like a joke. And then I recorded it and I double tracked it and I finished the riff and I was like, that's actually fucking sick. And I would never write that. So you're right.
Yeah.
Like try to do something that you think is wrong.
You just let something organic happen because you didn't get in your own way and you made something you liked, you know? And even if you didn't like it, you probably had fun making it anyway. Cause you're just like, I'm doing what I want to do. I think about this stuff a lot lately and like what my goals are with making music. And I've definitely been, you know, sort of circling the drain and the same concept of like, what am I trying to do? Well, I'm trying to play around and make noise. You know, when I was a kid and I was in a band in high school and nobody wanted to play death metal, but I did. I just made music at home and I just made anything I wanted without, and way more music than I write now, you know, because now I'm like more in my head about it. I don't know. I think, that was what I was going to say. I was going to say, Greg and I will get together to write music. And if we get together and say, we're going to get together, I'll come over and we're going to work on this, this, and this. We don't get shit done. We fuck around the whole time. And then we go to Friendly's and eat ice cream. If we say, we'll just hang out this time, we don't have to work on anything, we'll write music. Almost every time we're like, oh, I have this idea. And pretty soon, because the stresses are off and we're like, well, I mean, you know, and he has all these songs that are like, he's like, oh, listen to this song. It's based on a joke of some people at work. And I'm like, this is a really good song. I know it's a joke, but it's also good. And he's like, you know, he just didn't even think about it. He just made it, you know, like it just happened.
I think it's easy because like we've both been doing this for so long. It's easy to kind of take for granted that we can just sit down and create music, whether we're inspired or not. And I feel bad for people who have like tried to start and maybe never got over that hump of like, oh, I really want to learn how to play guitar, because it's the best feeling in the world to be able to sit down and go, I have an idea and it comes out and it's actually good. And if you're like just starting out and you're like, this is way too hard and my fingers hurt and you give up, it's like, you're so close to like having this freedom to just create shit. It'll make a bad day great if something good comes out.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah. There's I think it's Ira Glass who said this, and I don't remember the exact quote, but he said something about making art in general. And it was like, your taste is better when you start making something. Your taste is better than your ability. What you like is so much better than what you're able to make. And it might take a really long time until you make something that meets your taste. And that's a tough hump to get over. Like, you're going to make stuff for a long time that isn't to your satisfaction, because your taste is always going to be better. And even as you get better as a musician, your taste tends to change as well, which is another reason why I never try to, even though I'm totally guilty of this, but I try not to work on something for too long.
Oh my God, buddy. He just turned on my screensaver. Now I have to type in my password. Am I back? I don't know if the screen went blurry or what. Hey, buddy.
Oh, wow. Hello.
All right, be quiet now.
Loud purrs.
Yeah, he's
he
a
stepped
talker,
on the screensaver.
for sure.
Yeah.
What was I going to say now? Back to writing. So like when from a second story window started writing again, we didn't write anything in the 15 years we were broken up.
Yeah.
And one idea I stuck with, because I was feeling like rusty but open-minded and going, can I get back in that zone of where this band should be? And I think we were like coming up with ideas for vocals, and I'm going back and forth with Will over our demos, and like we'd get when you hear a part and you know the obvious thing of what the vocal or whatever should do over that. It's like, okay, try that, but also try the exact opposite every time. And you never know, it might be stupid, but it also might take you in a direction you never thought. And that's what happened with the end of our song, So Say We All. It's like this big, doomy, kind of Deftones heavy riff. Of course, there's like scream over it, but he ended up singing over it, and it made this ethereal, weird, floaty thing that we never probably would have tried if he had just kind of like demoed it out. And we're like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. So it's like, always try the opposite of what you would do immediately too.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's like, how you might get in a rut and you pick up your guitar and you always go to you always play the same like starting thing. You always go to the same starting position. And then you get together with another musician and you like learn their riff that they wrote, and they're coming from such a different place that it sparks stuff, because you're like, oh, my brain doesn't go there. So you jump started me without even trying. It just like doing something you wouldn't do, do the opposite of what you do, because you always do what you do. So maybe try the opposite, and then you can.
Yeah. Learning another guitarist riffs, it's so weird, because it's like, it's all the same shit, but it feels like a different language. Like, just the way their hands move, the rhythm, or I don't know, the changes between chords. Something is just like, I feel stupid instantly. I'm like so stuck in my own way. Like you said, I always go to the same chords, the same thing, and then have to break out of it.
Yeah. And like something you do all the time that you do effortlessly is like really challenging for somebody else, because they're not generally doing it,
Yeah.
Like, so Greg and I do that a lot with each other. We're writing different stuff. We think similarly in a lot of ways, but very different in other ways. And they'll often he always does this thing when we were writing for Red Chord, where he'd be like, well, I mean, I can't play it, but you'll be able to play it. And I'm like, that doesn't mean I'm like, this crazy bend, and then I have to do this. This is super hard. But it ends up making me think completely differently.
On our first tour with you guys in Europe, I remember realizing you do the up picking for everything. Yeah. And my mind was blown. Like I tried it just to see, and it just feels so strange. But like, did you just do that when you learned and it felt more comfortable, or how did that come about?
I did it. Yeah. I am self-taught, and when I started playing guitar, I actually had it. I didn't know anything. And there was an acoustic guitar in our basement, and I was probably like 11. And I just tuned it. I think I was tuning it like to fourths and fifths, because I just tuned it to like an open tuning that I thought sounded good. And then I would lay it down like a lap steel on my lap and bar the frets with my thumb. And for some reason I picked towards myself while doing this. And then eventually I started playing correctly, and I was still up picking. So I just kept doing that, and that was what felt comfortable. And then it just kind of became how I did it. I can't down pick as nearly as fast. I'm like, up picking is my thing I can do, but down picking, I'm like way behind everybody else.
Did you ever end up taking lessons, or just always self-taught?
I had one teacher when I was probably like 12, when I borrowed my uncle's guitar, and my mom used to bring communion to people in prison. And this one guy, I she told this guy that I was learning guitar, and he was like, well, I have an amp that I can't use because I'm in prison, so he can borrow it. So I borrowed this amp, and it was like this old, like, heavy as hell. I don't even remember what it was because I was a kid and didn't think about that kind of thing. Only had a clean channel. Obviously, it was an old, amp. And I bring it to this. We have this program in town called Creative Arts, and there was a teacher there who was a bass player, but he played a 6-string, and I feel like he convinced them that he could teach guitar because he had a 6-string bass, and like, not even the same tuning. But
Yeah.
I don't know what his bass tuning was, but he was like a jazz bass player, and I would go into this class, or it would be one-on-one once a week, and I was a kid, and I'd be like, well, listen to this thing I came up with this week, and I would just like noodle, and he would sit there and do like paperwork or something else. He taught me 2 things, and like he was ripping us off, and I didn't realize because I was like, I'm a 12-year-old, and someone's gonna sit here and while I noodle, and I go, check this out, and he wasn't listening. But he taught me the bass line for Lowrider on guitar, and he taught me the blues 145. Like that was it.
Yeah.
So everything else was. I think I took like 1 or 2 lessons later on from like one dude. I don't remember what I learned, but it's.
Well, little did we know when we started, like I basically the same thing. I took them for like maybe a month or 2, and the guy was like a burnout, 80s dude with long hair, and he never even taught me how to tune the guitar. He would just tune it real quick when I came in, and like we'd go through the book, and I'm learning Mary Had a Little Lamb and whatever, and it's like you're never going to learn what you actually want from going to these kind of lessons. And it was still like the tabs on the internet were still like a fairly new thing, and like so you just had to figure it out from friends.
How old were you when you started playing?
Oh, 13, I think.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and there was nothing there weren't a lot of resources online.
No, I mean, so, like I didn't get a computer. I got a computer in 1998 at Gateway 2000, and I didn't have the internet for a few months, so I just like played games on it. And it's like having internet at home was insane, and AOL and that dial-up modem sound and shit. But once I had access to the internet, I was like, why would I ever take lessons? I'm looking up like Slipknot tabs and shit.
Yeah. So people are putting it up there, and they're all wrong. Of course, all the tabs online are just totally wrong.
They're still fucking wrong too.
They're still wrong. Yeah. Yeah.
I look up tabs all the time for like to play a riff or a reel, like whatever. And it's like, there's always something wrong about it. I don't know.
I'm like, what are they hearing that I'm not hearing this? Or they're missing lots of notes oftentimes. I don't know.
And they'll confidently make some YouTube video and post it like, just crush this cover. And it's, it's clearly wrong.
Yeah. Like, well, that's wrong. I can hear it. I know that song. It's totally, the worst is when a band puts it on their record and you're like, they didn't play the riff right. And often I've heard like stuff that everybody knows, like Metallica covers on bands' records. And I'm like, that's not correct. Everyone knows this song. Everyone knows that you put it on your record. You paid money to record this.
Yeah.
Like it's the bonus track or whatever. And also, when you mentioned Mary Had a Little Lamb, I think about that too. Like, why were we learning shit like that? Nobody wants to play that on guitar. No one plays that on guitar.
No.
Like, it's not even played, It's
like some book from the 50s.
Yeah. I had a book. I had a little keyboard. Actually, I have the same keyboard still. I found... This was the keyboard I had as a kid, the Yamaha PSS 140, nice. And I got one for like $5 at a thrift store. I had a keyboard book, and it was like teaching you how to play stuff on keyboard, but it was like "Girls, Girls, Girls" was one of the songs.
Of course,
it was like probably late '80s. So it was like Motley Crue and Bon Jovi and stuff like that. And Girls, Girls, Girls. It was actually when I realized that that's a poorly written song. It has a good chorus and that's about it. But it's showing you how to play the keyboard part for Girls, 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 which obviously there's no keyboard part. So it's sort of playing kind of what the guitar was doing, but not quite.
Yeah. You're right. Why are all these books like that?
Why are we learning this? Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it had Mary Had a Little Lamb in there too, because it had some simple stuff, And then it had like, well, here's girls, girls, girls. I'm like, and it had the lyrics underneath so you could follow along. And I just remember being like, I was like 9 years old, and I'm like, this doesn't feel right at all. This is all wrong. Like, that's not how the song goes. And then I was also like, also, why does the song hang on that one chord after the chorus? It's just really bad. It's bad writing.
Yeah.
I'm slamming Motley Crue a little. They had some good songs. They wrote some good choruses. They're not good songwriters.
Yeah, I mean, I was never a huge fan. I like them better than Guns N' Roses.
Oh, okay. See, I'm the
but
other way around.
I was a little young for that. I literally grew up with nu metal, and that's where I started.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Korn, Limp Bizkit, Deftones, Kid Rock,
Yeah.
whatever was on MTV. So I started. When I went in for my guitar lesson, he would always do the thing because he knew I hated learning "Mary Had a Little Lamb" and all that. He's like, "All right, every time you come in, I'll teach you one song you want to know. So bring a CD in." So I bring in Korn.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, teach me Follow or whatever fucking song it was at the time. And of
And
course they're playing
tuned
7 strings tuned to A,
too
standard
low.
A.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm in a 6-string chord tuned to standard E. And so he just figured out some way to transcribe one of the riffs shittily. And that was it. I was just like,
Yeah.
this doesn't sound right.
This is wrong. You're not teaching me this at all. You're sort of figuring it out. Yeah. Korn. I mean,
Yeah.
Korn, that would be a hard thing to learn anyway, because their guitar sound was a little bit weird, and it was all kind of like noisy too, right? Like,
Yeah. It was
I don't
really
know.
dirty.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But-
never had that experience because I never had someone who could teach me.
Yeah. There also seems to never be like an interest in teaching you, how do I write a song? Or how do I begin to put a song together? I think it's because most people are like tourists who just want to play songs they like, and they take a few lessons, and there's probably very few serious people that come through. And then when they do turn out to realize, oh, I am serious about this, you just figure it out on your own like we did anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah. And realistically, like, you can have people help you, but you're going to have to figure out how to write a song. You're going to have to like dissect the songs that exist and think about why you like them. It's like you can't write a book, but because someone teaches you how to write a book, you have to read books. You have to read and absorb some of that. You have to do, I feel like that's the case for most creative work, is pretty much someone can show you the skills, but they can't, but you're going to have to find your own voice, and that's,
and if you
nobody can
really
teach
want
you that.
it, yeah, you will be doing it on your own because you just want to. I literally had this exact conversation with my friend Micah, who was just on. He's a storyboard artist, and he was talking about his friend that paints for a living and teaches. I forget his name right now. Scott Christensen, famous like landscape painter, but he has an academy where he teaches people to paint. And he's like, my realization as a teacher is that most people just want to do a painting. They don't want to be painters. So same thing we're talking about here is most people are just coming in, I just want to learn the songs on the radio and, doodle around. And if you really want to do it, you'd already be painting before you came in there, and then, then you can learn maybe a few things that help you out. But in general, I feel like most people who become a real artist in whatever they do, they're just going to do it regardless.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to happen because you're not doing it. And it's like, to take it back to what that band said that may or may not be Bad Omens. Like, if you're starting your band as a business, you have a completely different starting point and ideology about music than I do, because my point is I didn't start bands because I wanted to have, records and I didn't wanted it to be my job. I did it because I can't not do it. I don't make music for any reason other than the fact that I have to. I have to make music, or else I will be like horrendously unhappy.
Just go insane.
Yeah, if I lost that ability to do that, if that was somehow taken away from me, I don't think I would have a reason to do anything. I feel like it's something that's just it sounds hyperbolic to say, but it's as necessary as eating food, or sleeping. I can't live without it. I have to do it. Might not do it as much as I need to because life gets in the way, but so when I hear somebody say, we started our band as a business, I'm like, okay, you may as well be speaking to me in an alien language, because it does. I
Yeah.
can understand that in theory, but that's it.
Yeah, like that's
You know?
fine, but it's a completely different thing with a different
Yeah,
goal.
yeah.
And
You started a business, is what you're saying, and you used music to be the business. And what I'm saying is, I need to create something. I need to make something sonically to feel like it's worth being alive.
yeah,
You know,
completely.
it sounds crazy to say, but it's just the truth. You know,
No,
and
it's 100% the truth.
I mean, we're lucky. We know, that we know that kind of stuff early on. I think that's one of the good things about being, you know, uh, you know, a, an inherently creative person as a young person or whatever. I feel like a lot of people that make works that are important to them, they knew that they needed to do that for a very long time. They never had to think about it. It's not something you have to. It's not a decision you have to make. You're just like, oh, I got to make noise over there now. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go. I'm gonna go
I
home
have
and
to. Yeah,
I'm gonna go home and yell, or
yeah.
whatever. It sounds silly to say, but it's just the truth.
And also from inception, if you're doing it as a business, you're thinking about visuals and the look of the band and like
Mm-hmm.
everything that like we don't care about and we never cared about. I remember,
Yeah.
I think it was on one of our European tours or someone came up to us and said, if you guys cared about your image, then you'd go so much further. And we were like,
Hmm.
what? Like, we didn't think we'd go further anyway, regardless of image, but we're like, and then
Yeah.
everyone's just like, no, like it wasn't even a thought to like, what are we going to dress the same on stage and wear a
Yeah.
uniform or like we're all just dirty
Yeah.
dudes in flip flops. And
I mean,
like,
and the thing is, like, if that's a part of the thing that is part of your creativity, then hell yeah, But if it's not, if it doesn't matter, like I've been struggling with this similar idea for a while with Stomach Earth stuff. I'm like, I want this to be a particular, heavy experience. I want it to be heavy music, but I want it to be thematically heavy. And I keep thinking, like, well, what do I see bands, black metal bands or whoever, wearing corpse paint or masks or whatever. And sometimes that visual element is impressive, but I'm like, it's not that I want to take the attention off myself. I don't want it
yeah,
to be about, I don't want you to picture me. So I'm not going to wear a mask because then you're looking at me. I need to pull the attention away from me so that we can pretend that we're not here right now. Cause especially with like having me and Greg, like if you know us and you're coming to see if you're coming to see my Doom thing that only a couple people care about, then Greg and I probably, and that we're friendly guys. And I don't want you to think about that. I want you to forget
yeah,
that we had a silly conversation earlier and like experience something together. So like,
yeah, you two in masks on stage would be
you just be like,
just
oh, that's
knowing you
those
guys are
guys.
under there. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's Greg and
funny.
Mike. Yeah, or just thinking about a person there, So like, to get back to that whole thing, I always wanted. Now I'm going on a wicked tangent here, but
Go for it.
in high school, I had a couple different circles of friends. One circle of friends kind of splintered, as friends do when kids go into different groups and tried new things. And one of my best friends, he joined the drama club and started doing the musicals and stuff. And that circle made fun of him, and we were like, like, oh, he's doing drama club. Oh, and some of the guys in that, were mad for whatever reason. They were mad, and as time went on, I was like, oh, I'm just mad that Steve has a different group of friends now, and it's not us. And then it took me years to realize that's not what I was mad about. What I was mad about was I want to do the pageantry and the dressing up stuff too. I just don't want to do that, because I
Yeah,
was like, I see, like Iron Maiden, and there's costumes, and Bruce is coming out with the flags and shit, and it's a whole fun, ridiculous experience. And I joined the Red Chord years later, and everybody's kind of like, no, we don't have guitar solos, and we don't do stuff like that, and we don't. And I'm like, yeah, but I want to play pretend too, like. So I realized that there was an element of that, there was an element that I wanted, a visual element that I wanted there too, but not at all the same as when people said to your band or mine, if you guys cared about your haircuts, you know, like, or whatever, you cared
Yeah.
about when they say you care about your image to you, they're saying you guys should have nice haircuts and dress a certain way. And you're like, we're doing our thing. This is our authentic thing. We're guys in flip
Yeah.
flops. That's what we do. You know, like, we don't care about that. That's not what the issue, you know, that's not the goal here.
Yeah, there was never a conversation once where anyone, I don't think, like, should we do something about how we look? Like, that was
Yeah.
the last thing. We talked
Yeah.
about lights. We had a fog machine and lights, and like we built some cool light towers, but that was as far as it ever went. Like, as far as doing a thing.
Yeah, we were the same way. We were just like, we just want to play the craziest shit we can come up with, and that's what all of our energy is going into, and everything else is going to take away from that. So that's the goal of that band, you know. But we're meanwhile like, well, maybe we want to do something else that has other elements, but you can see the bands. Now I'm not shaming anybody for doing whatever they want to do, but you can tell sometimes when you see a band that's like, they're in costumes because it's a product, and this band's in costumes because they believe in this. This is their vision, and they love it. And
there's a fine line between where it's contrived and where it's like this complements it and it's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's definitely plenty of people who are doing it, you know, authentically and loving it. And it might even appear that they're not. And obviously metalheads and people into heavy music are so judgmental about anything anyone does. Oh, they're just doing it for money. Like, well, maybe.
I don't think there's that much money out there unless you're at the very top. Like,
there really is not enough money to be doing it. If I was like, anytime people have said that about my band before, and I'm like, what are you talking about? It's blast beats and shit. If I was doing it for money, I would not be playing this shit. I'd be playing rock songs.
Wouldn't even be breaking a sweat on stage, just fucking having a good time. And
I'd move down to Nashville, and I would I'd learn to read charts, and I'd play for country people. That's where the money is.
Yeah, that'd be fun, but like that's not fulfilling artistically. If you're into it, cool. But like
yeah.
And speaking of corpse paint, I just stumbled on Witch Club Satan's page, and they had a really sick video. Are you familiar with them?
I don't know who that is. No. Witch Club Satan?
Witch Club Satan, and I think they had like 85,000 followers. Something they're like known, but they're like coming up. I'm not sure, honestly, if it's 3 women or not, but it looks like 3 girls.
Are they
and
black
they had
metal?
these? Yeah. I think, I don't know. Someone will probably say they're not real black metal. I don't know. But they were all in corpse paint, but then I thought they were naked underneath these like partially open dresses, but it looks like they have this like rubber bodysuit with like fake tits, or I don't know. But whatever they're doing, I felt it right away. I was like, this is cool. This feels genuine. Yeah. And one of the reels was just shots of them on stage. And I don't know if it's from their record, like an interlude track or something, but it was just them breathing creepily in a rhythm, like, and it was like, this is sick. I believe that these people are insane, and it's really
they're
cool.
doing this because they love it.
Yeah. That's actually them. That's who they are, and that's awesome. I would feel dumb in corpse paint. Yeah, but I wish I could do it or had a reason to.
I got jealous. Like John, who plays in a couple of our bands, has filled in for some black metal bands and worn corpse paint. And I'm always like, I don't know if I could do it, but I do get a little jealous. I'm like, I want to wear a corpse paint on stage. I want to have like people breathing fire around me. I want to be I want to play too. You know, that's how I think about it. Like, I want to play.
So with Stomach Earth, you were kind of talking about like that visual element. Did you ever think of how you'd want to do that live, or were saying you kind of want to get away from it?
Well, we did some we've done like 5 shows total, but in Europe with Wear Your Wounds and Stomach Earth, we did like 4 shows, maybe it was 3 shows leading up to Roadburn a few years ago. It was 2018, and I had a video backdrop. For Roadburn, we played the record, the whole record, and I made a video backdrop that was basically the main element. And we were lit a little bit, but not quite. We were just kind of like in black without any logos, somewhat unlit, so you're not looking at us. Mainly I was just like, I don't want people to think about the people playing the music as much as they think about just kind of like being there. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Like the experience, like you said.
yeah, like you're watching a movie. You're watching a movie. You're not thinking about, well, the guy who plays, or hopefully you're not thinking, the guy who plays the lead really likes, you know, he really likes burritos or whatever. Like, I don't want to, you know, so like, I don't want to think about that normal stuff. I want to forget about that and just kind of, you know, the suspension of disbelief, just enjoy the moment that I'm there for. And so we did that. That was like as close as we did a few other shows where we didn't have the video, or we just, and it was just kind of stripped down. I thought that was the closest that I've gotten to trying to doing the thing I was trying to do, which is like, we're thinking about the music here. We're forgetting about the guys. We can talk about it after. We're forgetting about the guys here. I don't want to be the center of this. I want it to be like, hey, we're enjoying some music together. Because I really loved playing it, and it felt right. Because, like you said, you know, about making music that you want to hear, I was just like, well, I made that record because I was just like, I just want to make something I like. I'm going to try my hardest to make something for me.
Yeah.
And again, that's goes back to my philosophy of writing in general. If you try hardest to make something for you, you try to do something for you, then the like-minded individuals out there are going to be like, oh, I like that too. And I can tell that he really likes it, and I really like it, you know?
Yeah.
And we feel that way when we listen to a record and we're like, oh, this guy, you know, he's just like self-indulgent, working on his thing. And now we get to enjoy it. I always say I make music for me, but I share it for other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because if you can get like any one person to hear it the way you hear it and feel it the way it's supposed to be felt, the reason you like it, and that connection, like,
Yeah.
that's the whole reason to share it. Because otherwise I get just as much joy as like if I create an EP and I don't even put it out, it just exists and I'm stoked on it, I get just as much out of it. But to put it out there where it's not a product and someone literally feels that same connection, like, you can't beat that. That's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know how I feel when I hear something, you know, and it feels almost more rare as I get older, you know, but, you know, when you listen to some record that reminds you of like the first time you heard something, you know, like especially as you get older, it happens less, but you hear something and you go, wow, that makes me feel that really special way I haven't felt in 25, 30 years since I was a kid and I didn't know anything. And it like has that, you know,
it's magic back then.
It's yeah. When you can still feel that when you listen to something, it feels so special. And the way I look at it is like, if I can do that for someone else, then that's that's connecting to people, you know, like, and I also feel that another thing I think about a lot is that artists in general, like our duty to society and our communities is to be beacons for the weirdos. Basically, if I play a show and two people show up who like that music and they meet each other and they become friends and maybe they start a band, that was my job. My job was to bring people together so that they hang out. And then those like-minded people now have a connection to each other. That's like, you know, a responsibility almost, you know?
And they'll have that story forever that, oh, we met at the Stomach Earth show and that was when our band started. Right. Like,
and we're friends. And now he was my best man at my wedding or whatever. Yeah. Like I just like, it's, you know, it's such a simple thing, but it's really like, I don't know. I find that very important, especially when we make weird stuff or we make heavy music or outsider art stuff where, yeah, the internet's around, but it's still hard for those people to find each other. You know, think about how long it took you to find people to play music with that you wanted to. I mean, I don't know about you, but it took me years of playing music with friends who are wonderful friends, but they had different ideas about what they wanted to make. You know,
I got very lucky. It happened almost right away, just because I happened to grow up like Nick, drummer from Second Story Window. Him and I knew each other since we were 6, and he's just the shit. So he started before I did. Our friend Brady, they were both really into Nirvana and were playing that kind of stuff. Nirvana, Green Day. And then I had one shitty, like barely a band in high school. And the next one I was playing with Nick and we were playing like new metal stuff. And then the From a Second Story Window guys came to our practice, saw he was really good. Their drummer quit. They stole him. And that's how that band started. And then they knocked me into the dudes that were started with Robinson. So it happened very quickly.
That's great.
And then I got to be around all those guys in both bands, joined From a Second Story Window later. So I really lucked out, but I can imagine like playing for years with people who aren't dedicated, not showing up to practice or,
can't. I mean, I guess I should say I'm pretty lucky as well, but I played music with friends in high school who are brilliant musicians. We just were trying to do different things, like they just weren't interested in metal or especially death metal. And I wanted to do that so badly that when I did meet the Red Chord guys, I was like 19 and I was like, I can't believe it. These guys are into this and they can play anything. I remember talking to this kid one time before I met them, who was a drummer, and somebody was like, introduced me to him. He was like, yeah, he's into black metal and stuff. And he was like, I can play all the Emperor stuff and I can play the fill where he's hitting the cymbals in between and I can do this and that. I can blast. And I was like, awesome. And we got together to jam and he couldn't do any of that. And, so I was pretty disappointed. He's like, oh no, I thought I found a guy. And then I met Guy and those guys, I was like, I remember feeling like, I can't believe it. These guys can play anything I can come up with. This is amazing. Like I finally have like people who can do this. And I don't know. I think about that type of thing and how those connections really matter,
What year was that?
I would have been 2000, like probably early 2000, or late 99. My band before the Red Chord was playing a Battle of the Bands, and the pre-Red Chord band, Ictus, was playing. And I would watch them. I actually have a picture. It's funny. Somebody took a picture of us during our set, and before I even met Guy, and Guy's just standing there behind us watching. And I met him there, and I was like, yeah, I actually play guitar. I just sang for that band. And I was like, I play guitar and I want to play death metal stuff. And he called me like a couple months later at my job. I worked at CompUSA, the computer superstore. And he called me at my job. And he was like, hey, we're looking for a guitar player, actually, if you want to come try out. And I was like, yeah, all right. And I went down and I met our old bass player, Rob, at the mall. For some reason, I met him at the mall and left my car there, and he drove to Mike's. I don't know why we did that. And then I started playing them some riffs and stuff that I'd written, some like Suffocation rip-off stuff. And I remember a couple of them started laughing, and I was like, uh-oh. They don't like it. They're laughing at it. It's bad. And then Kevin's laughing and he's like, oh, that's fucking awesome. And I'm like, oh, he's laughing because he likes it. Oh, okay. That's good.
Dude, that's the universal sign for some reason. Whenever we wrote something that came out really good or like on accident, everyone starts cracking up. Like
they're like, oh my God. Yeah. Cause they're so like overcome with happiness that they like it maybe. Yeah.
Or because you don't believe you can do that. So when you hear something that comes out so good, you're like, that doesn't sound like we could do that. Like
we did that? Yeah. I remember that feeling.
Laughing that you go to, but
yeah, when you're younger and you're like, and you write something and your band writes something and you're like, I can't believe we came up with this. We did this. It's like a special feeling. Yeah. I mean, I still have those feelings sometimes. Like, I can't believe I came up with that.
Or that first time you like hear yourself recorded and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's actually good. I thought I sucked. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's nice.
Like, and it's like back then too, no one was recording demos and like using laptops and all that kind of shit. So the first time you heard anything was when you actually went to the studio and that was it. You had whatever you had enough money for your time. And that was it. That was done, which is cool because it forces you to just lay it down and that's what it is. Yeah. So there's like a balance to reach between, I'm so much better of a songwriter now that I can like cut things up in demo and whatever in Logic.
Yeah.
But I do miss that rawness of being in the room where things just happen. And
I find that the combination of both of those things kind of gives at least me the best result. I have time to cut things up and play with things, and then I also want to jam with someone else and sort of glue them all together with the natural feel. I find that using both methods is really nice. But there's nothing beats being in a room with people and just making noise.
Yeah.
It
Being
just feels
surrounded
good.
by all that, the sound, like,
Yeah.
it's just the loud ass drums and turning your amp up. It's just a more raw feeling than just headphones and,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I forgot how much I loved it, and how important. I often forget how important it is to me. Recently, a couple days ago, Greg and I are in another band called Sexless Marriage, and we're recording an EP this weekend. And we just went over the songs on Monday, and I hadn't played in a room with people for a while, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I fucking love this." I forgot how important this is.
Yeah, we were practicing twice a week after I moved back into the area here, and like since we stopped, I'm just like, fuck, I miss that. Like some days it's like, oh, I don't feel like getting up, especially in the winter and it's cold. And then you get in there and it's still just like, okay, I'm so happy I'm here.
Yeah. Do you guys live close by each other, or are you far away?
Yeah. Everybody besides Sean pretty much lives in this general area, and
Okay.
I'm like 5 minutes from where I grew up, and then another like 2 minutes to where we practice. So it's really, really close. And Nick lives down the street, Rob lives the other way, and Joe lives just a little bit further out. Sean's the only one. He's
That's
3
awesome.
hours away in Columbus, but
Yeah. Do you have a regular night? You haven't been practicing lately though, you said.
No, I think we're done. Like we canceled our shows last summer. Everyone was too busy, and we put out the one song with Sean after he joined the band and Will left. And then it was just kind of like, it's just too much for some of the guys with businesses. Everyone's got families besides me, so it was pretty much like we were done. I guess kind of open-ended. A couple of the guys hit me up a few times saying, oh, maybe we should do one more thing or whatever. I'm like, I'm always open, whatever you guys want to do. So
yeah. They're not really sure if they can commit, but they're also not really sure if they are done. It sounds like. Is that
because
how it is?
I mean, part of the reason we did this, because we broke up in 2008 just on a dime. We just screwed Guy over because we had the record coming out, and like we just were like totally fucked up, and like we broke up in a parking lot because the tours were going so bad. And I split. I moved to Los Angeles, and then that was it. And we never had an ending. We broke up before the record came out, and that was it. So it's like, we're going to do this reunion. We'll do the reunion show. We didn't really know much past that. Got the idea to put out some music, and then we were like, okay, let's just kind of go as long as it feels right. And then it stopped feeling right for some of the guys. So we're like, okay, like we always said, we're not going to pressure anyone to keep going. We're all in our 40s. So if it makes sense, it makes sense. And so I'm not.
You got to really want to do it when you're older. It's not
like,
worth it to force it.
I really got a taste for the road just for that, coming out to play with you guys and at Widowmaker for the vinyl release. We played New York, and then the next day.
That's right. Yeah.
And I thought I was going to be so over it by the end of that weekend, but I was like, I kind of want to keep going. Like, I wish we were on a tour right now, but I don't know how long that would last.
Yeah. I get that. The longest run we've done in years and years was with Pig Destroyer. And See You Next Tuesday. Was that not? It might have been the year before last, and now it's 2024.
I think it was last year. Oh, was it that long ago?
It was. Yeah, it was the end of 2024. So it was about a little. Yeah, it was like a year and a half ago. And that it just went so well. Everything was great, and I hadn't, my last memories of tour with that band were basically like, I'm so burnt out, I'm over it. It was a tour with like long drives, and it was a shorter one. It was the only tour Charn ever did with us, as our drummer. And these 3 dates were so good. And I was like, I could keep going. This is awesome. I didn't, or was it 4 dates? I think it was 3 dates. Yeah. And I was like, this is the best. And I didn't realize it was going to be this fun. I kind of was like, oh yeah, this will be fine. It'll be good. But I was like, wow, it was actually great. And everything went right. It was like the only time everything went right.
all we can remember is all the breakdowns and like getting screwed at shows or shows canceled and like things going bad. So like you have all the fond memories of the, being on stage and like, wow, I can't believe I ever got to do that. And but I always felt like, I don't think I could sleep in a van again and do it. And then I'm 41 and I get back into the van. I'm like, I think I could do this. I would like there to be a little bit more money just so I could like
enough
I can't
to,
just,
you can't lose money,
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
definitely I was talking about this actually I did a Twitch stream earlier today, and someone asked this question, would you ever do a full US tour with the Red Chord again? And I was like my emotional answer and the logistic answer are very different. The logistic answer is like, we're not if you're a touring band, you got to keep that machine running all the time. You have a van that you have to pay for. You have to keep that van running.
yeah,
Starting from a dead stop is very expensive and time consuming. But once you're like always touring, you can keep the machine going, but getting the machine started is really hard.
yeah,
Um, Emotionally, I was like, I mean, if everything was right and logistic and it was comfortable and I wasn't like, I'm not sleeping on 19-year-old kids' floors anymore. Like
yeah,
those days are, long done. If we had all the amenities that, and I don't mean like really nice things. I mean, just being able to shower and sleep somewhere. That's literally all I
yeah.
need.
To get a hotel that's like half decent,
Not trash.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Where somebody doesn't yell at us because we were mad that there was blood all over the bed,
yeah,
like, uh, we tried to leave a hotel once and we were like, there's blood all over the bed. And the guy was like yelling at us. He's like, what is he was acting like we were being jerks. We're like, I'm not going to sleep on this blood. But yeah, so like I could see, yeah, but like you said, I'm like, yeah, maybe 3-4 days, maybe 7 days. I'm enjoying it. Maybe by
yeah.
day 8, I'm like, I did this already. I'm ready to go home. I don't know if I could do 3 weeks, 4 weeks
Yeah,
anymore.
I'd have to see it. Like you said, if we had a van that we knew wouldn't break down
Yeah.
and we could get a hotel every night, everyone has a like comfortable bed and a shower, just the basics are covered like that. So you could be a
Yeah.
human
Yeah.
and like eat a good meal that isn't trash fast food. I could
Yeah. You
see, I
could,
don't know, I could do a few weeks, I think.
yeah. I think if all of those things were right and then also I can pay my bills. But again, it's like for all of that stuff to happen is, at this
Yeah.
point when we're not doing it all the time it's asking a lot, really, like,
It is, yeah. Because like
so
if everybody wants to pay their bills, the guarantee has to keep going up. Like, oh, we're
yeah.
doing a hotel every night. Okay, everyone's got rent or mortgage or whatever, and then
Mhm.
so that's a pretty hefty guarantee for a band that's not full time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Not to mention, that's if everything works out. That's if,
yeah,
the van doesn't break down, or whatever, or like if you don't have a van, you're renting one, and I definitely like, it's interesting to talk about it now. We've had a lot of conversations like this lately because we were doing these one-off things here and there. And we're like getting the ball rolling, doing a one-off where you fly in and you play that one show. Fine. But the
yeah,
second you add a second date, well, how are we getting to the next one? Are we flying to that next one? The next one is a 5-hour drive. Are we renting a
yeah,
van? Now we're borrowing gear, and suddenly it snowballs into like logistics stuff.
yeah. One day adds all these questions.
Yeah, and it's funny to think about that stuff now when we were younger and doing it, and we're all like, "Oh yeah, first show is out there. Well, we'll drive out there. We'll book an extra show on the way out or whatever." And I don't know how people are doing it now. Honestly, I feel like touring has gotten harder for bands now. I think it's harder I know there's like more tools, but I feel like it's playing music professionally is probably harder for bands starting now than it was when we were doing it. I think it's
Yeah,
only gotten more difficult, more challenging overall.
I wouldn't know where to begin to like self book a tour. Am I just
Yeah.
emailing venues? Like if you didn't have an
Yeah.
agent, because we
Yeah.
had
Not to mention,
MySpace, that was great back then.
yeah, we had that stuff. Not to mention, a lot of those venues that we were playing are gone, or Live Nationed. Like
Mhm.
stuff has changed quite a bit, and there have been a few times when people have asked me questions like that, like, what advice would you give to a young band? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I don't do it. I don't know. It's like I feel like I started doing this at the end of another era. Like when
Yeah.
we signed our Metal Blade contract, that was like, it was in 2004. That was like the end of an era. Right around that time, contracts were changing drastically to include
Mhm.
digital stuff, to have people started signing 360 deals. I remember not like the idea of back then of a label taking merch money from tour was unheard of.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, I remember I actually said, I feel so stupid saying this because now it's hilarious, but I'll tell you because it's funny. I remember being like, we were talking about the contracts and Metal Blade wanting to have a lot of the digital percentage at the time, and it was 2004. So I was like, who the fuck cares about that? What do you? I don't care about that. That's nothing. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants digital. Yeah. And like, it's
we're selling
hilarious.
CDs.
No, everyone buys CDs. That's what they buy. They buy CDs, compact discs. Like, it's hilarious to think about that. I'm like, oh wow, how things have changed so much just in a few years from 2004 to 2009, let alone now, so
yeah,
I always think that's funny. I'm like, it's apples and oranges. I can't, the things that I did, I can tell you how to, find a good bathroom on tour. That's about all I can do.
Yeah.
Where to find a clean bathroom.
Streaming pays dick now. Like,
yeah. I mean, nothing like, and merch is, the conversation about merch, people take, all the venues taking a cut. And, I don't know.
Yeah, I've seen bands just post on Instagram, hey, we're going to be outside afterwards selling it out of the van because we're not, dealing with that shit, which is just crazy. Like,
yeah. And, it's like, I feel for them. It's definitely, it's a hell of a, I think it's harder. I mean, maybe it's just different, but to me, that's the whole situation now is harder.
I also feel like maybe I'm totally wrong, but it's more saturated. I feel like there's this there's so many bands.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's the streaming services have made it so that everybody can put their music out there. So even finding well-known bands can be difficult.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's, on one hand, I'm like, I think everybody should make their art. That's the thing that separates us. It's the innately human thing. But also,
it's a double-edged sword. Yeah. Like,
yeah, but like the world that we live in, we need to adjust so that everybody can make their art instead of having to step all over each other, to get anywhere. That's,
where's the balance between that? Because like anyone can, I don't know if everybody realizes that, but you can literally put out your music on every platform.
Yeah.
And as long as it takes to upload and they process it, then, I could record myself shitting in a bucket and have it on Spotify next week.
Yeah. Yeah, you could. Yeah. And it could be, it could knock something out of an algorithm because it's a new release or something, like.
Yeah. Do you ever deal with the uploading or just guide, or you do that for your solo stuff, right?
So, yeah. So all my stuff now through Nighted Throne, I do it myself. Yeah.
It's funny. The like pitching yourself to a Spotify playlist is just like,
I don't have to do that. I don't have to do that, but yeah, I haven't done that, or I haven't done that yet, but
I think that's through TuneCore is what I use. And there's like or maybe I can't remember when you do it. I guess it's when you're in your Spotify backend.
Oh,
when you have a new release, they give you the option to pitch yourself to a playlist, unless you have access to playlists as a label.
Yeah, I have some like some access to some of that stuff. I don't. Yeah, and then I control. Like I've been able to do a little of the back end stuff with some of the bands or the projects that I have access to. A guy does a lot of that stuff for Red Chord, but I have a little bit of that as well. And I haven't done the pitching to a playlist yet, but I have made a couple playlists based on stuff to hopefully get, I don't know. I try to do the thing I'm supposed to do on the streaming services, but I don't really. I'm also kind of mad about it. I feel that way about social media too. I'm like, I'm supposed to post Instagram reels and stuff. I don't want to. I really don't want to use Instagram. I just want to delete my Instagram, but I can't do that realistic.
I think maybe about it every day.
I will. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sitting here like in this room. I got lights on me. I'm recording a riff for a reel and I'm just sweating and I can't get it right. And then I have to like hit stop and like, fuck, or it wasn't recording. And I sit there and I'll just have this moment where I go, why the fuck am I doing this?
Yeah.
for like 3 people to care.
Yeah. I've been like in that same boat. I'm like, oh yeah, I was doing some videos for the Red Chord, some like old video tour footage stuff. And it was fun to go through that stuff and make little clips and stuff.
Oh yeah.
if I'm shooting something new, I'm like, I don't know. It's who wants to watch this? Like I
Yeah.
don't want to watch this. Uh, I want to, if I like the band, I want to listen to the record. I don't want to watch the once in a while. It depends on the musician. Sometimes some musicians, I'm like, well, that guy's so unbelievable. Like I just
Mm.
followed the Scar Symmetry guitar player. I forget his name. He plays on a bunch of stuff. He's a ridiculous guitar player, amazing player. I love listening to this guy play. I'll watch all of his reels because it's just him playing guitar. But generally, I don't know. I'm like, who wants to watch my riff again? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, I mean, you're much better than I am. I'm definitely not impressing anyone with what I do either. So it's like I just post riffs that I think are sick that like I know other people like. It's not even like most of it's not even my music. It's just like oh, I love this fucking Slipknot riff from Iowa or whatever. Like just stuff that I enjoy.
I mean, I
And
think that's cool because then you're just sharing something you like,
yeah, that's why I
I
do
don't
it.
know.
And I also like I said earlier, I do enjoy editing. And part of it in the beginning was like I want to get better at editing because it'll help me for work. And then it's like getting better at editing the podcast clips because my first ones were so terrible and it's so hard to pick a good moment. And then
Yeah.
you might talk about something really cool for 10 seconds and then it jumps out of, it's really hard to find the
Yeah.
moments and then make
I
them
imagine.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. You might have a great conversation, but it's like, well, it's the whole conversation that's great, not just there might not even be a good snippet, even though the whole conversation was great.
Then you have people saying, oh, the video shouldn't be longer than 13 seconds. And I'm like, what the fuck of any kind of substance am I going to show? So I just stopped
Right.
caring about it. Like all
Yeah.
the things you're supposed to do. And that makes it more authentic, which I think is done better since I stopped. Let me get a hook in there. It's like, what?
Right.
What
No,
is
I
a
agree.
hook of anything you and I have said all night where it's like, holy shit, I have to see the end of this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we could be like, our new project, Farts Incorporated, is the best thing you've ever heard, and I hate Metallica. You could use that. There you go. This is a clip you can use.
There you go. And then I'm going
By
to
the way,
mark it with
Metallica
the thing in
sucks.
Riverside.
Or I don't know. I love Metallica. I don't think they suck. Well, but yeah, I hate all that stuff because I feel like it just ties you in a knot, getting in the way of the real fun, and I don't know. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about, I find myself, so I started changing my morning routine. Before I was waking up like a lot of people and looking at my phone right away. It's okay. Check your phone for the time. That's fine. But I would look, I'd open Instagram and I'm laying in bed and I'm looking at bullshit. And sometimes there's fun stuff and there's plenty of good stuff that people are sharing. And there's plenty of people who are interesting or making good stuff who are using the app or whatever. But I'm just scrolling through bullshit, finding it's draining my time. It's draining my some part of my brain and my attention span. So I stopped doing that and I get up and we have coffee and I start the day by reading instead, and just sometimes I put on headphones and I just listen to like drones just to like clear, and I feel like it's undoing some of the shit that social media has done to my brain, which is, morning brain rot is not helping me, like it's the beginning of the day. Your brain's waking up.
Yeah.
And I'm watching like some guy fight with somebody outside of Dunkin' Donuts. Like, I don't need to see that.
Yeah, you don't need to see it ever, let alone when you first wake up and it's like the most important parts of your day to get your mind right and be, productive. And my one friend called it smoking in bed, which I thought was a really great way to put it.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I feel like it's that. You shouldn't. What are you doing? Like, why would you do that? Yeah, like instead, what ends up happening is it dials in my brain for the day, and then I'm like, oh, I got to send this video of this guy getting yelled at outside the Dunkin' Donuts to someone. And then I'm like, wasn't that funny? The guy's getting yelled at outside the Dunkin' Donuts. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
It was and chances are that moment, that's, some silly thing that people share. Maybe that was like a really, really bad mental health day for that guy. Maybe that was maybe that was just a fucking horrible day. And he, the world he lives in was not supporting him, and he flipped out. And he doesn't, maybe he's an asshole all the time, but I don't need to know about that. It's none of my business.
Yeah,
I
and
just,
there's so much negativity and terrible things you see when you're scrolling. Like, even
yeah,
though you're not there, you're absorbing that as if you were in some way. Like, some of that
yeah,
negativity has to stay with you, and then you're just seeing
yeah,
guy hit by a car, two people fighting outside Dunkin' Donuts, someone
yeah,
screaming at someone, and it's just like someone jumping off a roof, and you just
yeah,
like you're not supposed to take all that in.
yeah, yeah. Or the other thing that I do, which is, and I'm sure lots of people do this, is I look at that video and I instantly go to the comments and I go, oh, look at all these people being mean. And I'm like, wow, what an asshole this guy is. What a prick. And then I read some fight between two strangers talking
Yes.
about, and I'm like, why am I reading this? I don't need to hear these two people I've never met argue about something irrelevant. And I read this right as I wake up for the day. And like, what is this supposed to be relaxing? No. So I started
Yeah.
reading. I started reading and having coffee, and it's this nice, slow, quiet wake up. And every time I've done it, and I've been doing it consistently, my day is so much better. My focus is better. It's kind of like it's mindfulness. You know, it's like
Yeah.
there's another thing. Blind Boy talks about on this podcast. I really recommend this podcast. It is it's funny and interesting, but also he does a lot of it's a lot of like thinking about why we do stuff. And I sort of need that. I need someone to sort of I don't know, he's got kind of a calming voice as well. And sometimes it's legitimately very funny. It's one of those, it's hard to describe, and everybody recommends something and you go, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. Oh, you really got to watch this show. And you're like, oh, okay. You know,
I
it's the
call
only
that my
podcast.
list. I'll put it on the list.
Yeah.
And I never check it out.
And you never check it. You know what I started doing when I started saying, oh, that sounds really cool, but I'm not going to watch that. And then they go, oh, well, you know, you should watch it. And I'm like, I know. And I probably like it. And I bet it's really good. And I trust your opinion, but there's not enough time for everything. And I'm not interested enough to start watching that. So I'm going to just be honest with you and say, I'm not going to watch it. And
Yeah.
I don't think you don't need to feel bad. You didn't make the show, but people are like, well, oh, you really should watch it. Like, I don't watch that much stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
You should appreciate your honesty that you're just
yeah.
like, thank you, but I probably won't watch it.
And then once in a while, someone goes, oh, this is really up your alley. And I'm like, I will try my hardest to watch that. I hope, like, I've wanted to watch that movie Friendship with Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson since it came out. And I haven't watched it. And it's like two of my favorite guys in a ridiculous, weird comedy. It's something I really want to watch. I haven't watched yet. So I don't think I'm going to watch.
I know I have a list of those in there that I always like every time I remember, like, oh, I got to see that. And I just spent 5 years and I've
still never seen Apocalypse Now. And Brennan and I, my partner and I we're both like, we've never seen Apocalypse Now. We really should watch that. It's like a classic movie, I guess. We should watch that.
Dude, I've never seen it either.
Well, maybe we should all watch it, but we probably won't. We'll try to. It's like 4 hours. It's hard to do.
Oh, that's rough. Yeah. I mean,
it's not 4 hours,
Lord
but
of the
it's
Rings
long.
extended edition, but
yeah, I think there's a long version of it, but we did get around to watching Citizen Kane finally. Cause that, you know, we were like, that's a movie everyone thinks is the best movie. We should watch that movie. So we finally watched that.
Was it
a few years ago?
I've never seen it either.
It was very good. It was very good. You know, it's from a different time, so it's hard to call it the best movie ever now. But it's worth watching. I'm not going to tell you to watch it. If you're interested in watching it, you should check it out. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Lord of the Rings, are you a fan?
I've never really gotten into Lord of the Rings. I read a little bit of some of his short stories, and I saw the first movie, and I saw the Hobbit cartoon when I was a kid, but that's about it. I think it's cool. I just never really, went down that path.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. I've been waiting for a new video game, and the company Warhorse Studios that made Kingdom Come, they're doing the next Lord of the Rings open world RPG, which
wow,
that should be really sick with how they made, like, that game was so gritty and realistic.
I started playing Kingdom Come. I didn't get very far, but I really appreciated how like difficult and real it was. I would definitely play. I've played more Lord of the Rings games than movies I've watched. I would play that game for sure.
Yeah.
I played the Two Towers on PS2. That was cool.
Oh, those were the best. I wish they would remaster those.
I'm kind of surprised they haven't.
Yeah,
they were
it's
popular.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
people would eat that up. They were as good as they were too. I mean, it was one of the best games where you're kind of playing through the movie, because usually that's hard to do.
Yeah,
and they
did
off.
a great job with that. Yeah, there's one game I played. There's a Lord of the Rings. I forget the name of the game, but it's around that same time. It was a real-time strategy PC game, and they might have made it for other stuff too.
Oh yeah, what was that one?
And it was cool because you could command all those units, and yeah, some of the games were great. Yeah, it's funny. I love fantasy stuff. For some reason, I just never really. I always expected. Oh, eventually I'll read the books.
I read the Hobbit in college,
I read a few.
but I never read the Lord of the Rings. I was a huge fan of the movies since they came out.
Yeah. What did I read? I read a couple of his like shorter stories. I think it's behind me, but I'm gonna look for it.
There's the one that's like, it's like, I don't know if it's a prequel or after or post Lord of the Rings, the Similarian or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it. Yeah. That one I've never read.
People make fun of that one a lot.
Do they?
Yeah, I think because it's long. I don't know.
Just like a lot of nonsense.
I don't know. Because I haven't read it, but
because he'll spend a whole chapter just describing the way a Hobbit table is like set with like the bread and the plates and the cups, and
I think that's kind of crazy, and I love that. Like that's
amazing. I wish I had that dedication to that attention to detail. But that's why I loved it so much, is I know that, like, obviously he's not involved in the movies, but he was so obsessed, and he created this entire world and wrote the languages and everything down to the last detail of every different culture and species of, whatever. Like, it's just so amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I do really appreciate how dedicated to the world he was. Yeah. And there's so many records. That's another reason I'm familiar with Lord of the Rings, because of all of the records that are about Lord of the Rings, black metal bands, heavy metal band, every band who's made 1 million records about this whole world.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's what that is. It's Lord of the Rings. Oh, okay. Oh, what's the name of where's the band? Where do they get their name from? Oh, it's from Lord of the Rings. Oh, that's right. I have so many records that are based on, like, all the summoning records. They love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I don't know if I wish I had read the books before the movies or not, because I know a lot of people were angry, but whatever you fall in love with first, the other thing is probably going to make you mad no matter what.
Yeah.
So I know some people walked out of the theater when they're like, oh. But the people who didn't read the books love the movies. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I get it.
I tend to find that if I watch a movie and then I read the book, I enjoy them both, because the movie is never going to fit everything in there.
Yeah.
And then I go back and I'm like, oh, I really like that story. Let's get a little more out of it. There's more I haven't gotten. Yeah.
It's the inverse. You get more after instead of less, and things cut out.
Yeah. There's one movie, I haven't read the book. Brenna read it, and we've watched the movie numerous times. And I do think the movie is perfect. And the book is also apparently right on par, and it's Gone Girl. And the author of the book wrote the screenplay. So she was able to be like, well, here's all the important points. So the movie is, and when we were watching it a little while ago, I was like, I'd seen it in the theater, and I was like, oh yeah, I've seen this movie. I'm going to run to the bathroom when it gets a little slow. And then I didn't the whole movie. I was like, there's no point. Like towards the end of the movie, I'm like, I got to pause it. I gotta be right back. Cause I'm like, there's no point. It's just like perfect start. I couldn't believe.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really good one. And it's got a perfect score. It's Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross score. The score is really good on its own. Every element, everybody brought their A game to that movie. Everybody involved in that movie, just it's heavy. It's a pretty brutal story too.
When did that come out?
Maybe 2014, something like that.
I don't
It's
know
got
if
Ben
I saw
Affleck.
it or someone made me watch it or not.
It's Ben Affleck and Rosamund Pike. This is the two leads. It's heavy. I recommend it. It's got an incredible score. It tells a dark and interesting story. And everybody in it is fantastic. Yeah. There's not many movies that I feel that way about.
Yeah, there's not much. I mean, I don't really follow what's coming out, and I definitely don't go to the theater unless it's like something I really, really want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I think the last time I was in the theater, I did see the last Jurassic Park for some reason. We went to see that, but before that, it was Top Gun, which was amazing.
Oh, the newer one, yeah,
yeah.
I
wasn't expecting anything, and it was just great. It felt like a proper sequel to the old ones. I thought they were going to make it about these like young, annoying, like, the new guys. And it was all about fucking Tom Cruise still. The action was awesome and it was great.
That's
so
awesome.
I was pleasantly surprised. I'm watching Better Call Saul for the first time right now.
Oh yeah. I think I watched like 3 seasons of that and I never finished it, but I liked it.
It's very slow at the beginning.
Yeah.
Everyone says make it to that 3rd or 4th season. I can't remember.
I see. That's what I really liked about it was that it's like it felt like a completely different show. It's about a different guy. It's about, and the whole story with him and his brother is really sad and well done.
Mm-hmm.
That character that Michael McKean plays is awesome.
That condition he has, which at the point of the story I'm in, I still don't really, I guess it's in his head, but not, I don't know. Well,
he has
he's allergic to all electronics or this,
well, he had, I'm pretty sure he has some kind of, he's like, some kind of other disorder. He's, he has probably OCD and some other, issues. I mean, because they make you feel, they do a little bit, a couple times you're like, is it real?
Yeah, I'm still early on, so I'm like, what is happening here?
What's happening? Is it real? Like, yeah, I mean, I feel like they don't make it very clear what's really going on, which at least as far as I got, which is what I liked about it. I'm like, it's like the same thing I really like about a lot of cosmic horror, the idea that you're not really sure what's real, and that is the scary thing. I don't know if you watched True Detective. Did you watch that?
Yes, the first season and then the 4th one. I don't remember.
Oh yeah,
first season was. I mean, really, all you need is incredible.
I like the first 3, but that first season is just, amazing, and just I love the idea that, that you're like you never are really told what's going on with Rust's hallucinations. You're like, are they hallucinations? Are they real? What's going on? We don't know. And that like subtle touch of, is there something going on but we're never going to tell you. That's way scarier than like showing the monster.
Yeah. No, that's so good. And it keeps you interested the whole time. That character is just one of my favorite characters ever. I just rewatched the first season a few months ago, so it's fresh in my head, but
it's brilliant. It's the best TV I've ever seen, that first season there.
Yeah, it's and Breaking Bad I rewatched, which was also, I'm just like, holy fucking shit. It gets better every time I rewatch that. But those
Did you watch The Wire?
No, I've been told it was good though.
I definitely, those 3 are in my high tier. The Wire is like heartbreakingly real story that outside of that first season of True Detective, I feel like The Wire is also in the category of best TV I've ever seen.
Okay. I'll have to.
Yeah. It's worth watching. Yeah. It's tough at first because there's like, they just unload so much story on you right away. You get introduced to a million characters at once and it's overwhelming. And you're like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know who they're talking about. And what I recommend is if you get through the whole series, when you finish, watch the first episode again, because you'll go, oh, all this makes sense now. It's because they drop you right in the middle of the story. There's no beginning or end. They just drop you right in, and you're like, oh, I'm in it now. Yeah, it's very good. I know everybody says to watch it. It's one of the and I was just saying earlier about how nobody should watch anything that that you told. It's like the only thing all I can tell you is I've watched it like 3 times, and yeah, it's
Okay.
it's a masterpiece.
No, I will take your word for it because I don't watch much TV. I'm a big YouTube guy. I kind of just like whatever the algorithm. It's so good now. I'm usually interested in the first 5 things, so I'll just pick one and I just let it play.
Yeah.
Also, I watch a lot of Kill Tony. I got back into the stand up.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Is that is Kill Tony a stand up?
It's a live podcast where Tony Hinchcliffe, he's the host with Brian Redband, kind of like in the Shane Gillis, Joe Rogan crew, like all those guys who all moved to Austin. But he's been doing it for like 15 years, I think, where every night or every Monday, I think they do it. They're live on the internet and they have comedians put their names in a bucket and they just pull a name out of a bucket. The guy comes up and does a minute and then he gets basically criticized by the panel. It's like Tony and then 2 guest comedians, and it's just fucking hilarious because you never know who's going to walk through that curtain. It could be someone who's amazing or someone's first night ever and they're nervous as fuck, or someone who's like just the biggest fucking weirdo in the world. So they'll do the minute, they'll talk about it, and then like Tony will interview them, and you just like get the wildest fucking stories from people who are homeless, people who are drug addicts, people who have gone through crazy shit. And sometimes they'll get like a really funny person and he'll give them a golden ticket, which means they can come back to the show whenever they want and do a set.
Oh, that's cool.
Gets millions of views. It's on YouTube every week. So I got into that and I'll just put that on.
I've heard that name before. I didn't know what it was. Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. But yeah, in general, occasionally I'll get in the mood for a show. So maybe after I finish Better Call Saul, I'll go for The Wire. But I don't watch a lot of movies or TV. I'm big on YouTube and podcasts and just chilling.
Yeah, I don't find myself watching a lot of movies or TV either. We kind of watch, we're a little picky. We kind of watch this, stuff we really like a lot, or we're just doing something else. We have watched a couple recent shows and I'm like, oh, there's still some good stuff I can watch, but if something doesn't grab me within a couple episodes, I'm like, I can't. Like a friend recommended something once and was like, you got to get through the first season, then it gets really good. And I'm like, I have to watch a whole season before it gets good? I can't do that. I have to like it at least by the 3rd episode or else I'm not going to keep watching it.
Yeah, I mean, I understand some shows, they take a few setup episodes, but like if I'm not already starting to go, okay, I like this character, I at least want to see where this is going, it's very tough because there's just too much shit. There's too many shows, there's too much content and so little time, and I'm trying to do more guitar stuff now and write music more, and like I find myself, I'm like realizing like you with like how you wake up and waste time on your phone. I do the same thing, but I also realize that at night I'm like, I kind of eat dinner, shut down for the day. And I'm like, there's like a good 6 hours where I just treat that as I'm done now. And I could go sit there and write another song or get better at editing or something. So I've been doing more of that.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. I've been trying to do that myself because I'm like, I found myself for a while being like, I don't have enough time to do all the stuff I want to do. I'm like, well, I do. I'm just using the time not very well. Like, if I look at Instagram reels for an hour a day, which is probably not even that much compared to what I really am, I might be watching more or other people might be watching more. Even an hour a day of looking at bullshit that I'm going to forget.
Complete waste. Yeah.
I could spend an hour reading this book that I'm not going to forget, or if the book sucks and I'm not into it, then I just stop reading it. I used to have this idea like, well, you have to finish everything you start. You don't. If it sucks, you can stop it. You can turn the movie off. You don't have to finish the video game you don't like.
There's a million books. There's a million,
Yeah.
If it's not hooking you, like that TV show by the 3rd chapter. Okay. Let's
give it a little time. Determine how long it takes you to get into something. And then like with video games, oftentimes I'll start it. If I start a new game and I'll play it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's okay. I don't know. Oftentimes I don't like the game that much in the beginning. I just think, oh, I'm sort of getting the feel for it. And it's the next day when I've been thinking about it, I'm like, oh, I'm still thinking of that game. I'm going to put it on. And then it's
Mm.
sometimes I might even just start over again. Like the Dark Souls games and Bloodborne. Bloodborne is my favorite game of all time. And
I saw that was the only game on your Twitch.
oh, I hadn't been on Twitch for a little while, so it was like it had erased the other ones.
Oh, okay.
I've been off Twitch for like 3-4 weeks because I've been just working so much. But getting back, yeah, I was playing Bloodborne before. I've beaten the game like 8 or 9 times. When I first started it, I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do this. This is too hard. And I was discouraged, and I stepped away from it for like 6 months. And I went back, and something sort of clicked, and I was like, okay, I needed to step back, start fresh. And for some reason, that time it clicked. And I do this with shows too. I've tried to watch Twin Peaks 3 times, and I get 3 episodes in, and I go, I don't know. I know I should like this show. I love David Lynch's movies. I love the idea of the show. I love how weird everything is, but it's not hooking me. And I'm like, eventually I feel like it will. So I'll just back off. I'll give it another try later. At some point, I'm going to go, wait a minute, I love this.
The same thing happened to me. All I heard about from other people was like, oh, I'm obsessed with it. You got to watch it. And so I was so excited. And I think my girlfriend Gladys and I think we tried together. I can't remember. But like 2 or 3 in, I'm like, I'm not feeling it. But I want to like this. I love how weird it is too. Like, I don't know. Just something wasn't hitting.
Yeah. Sometimes that happens.
Maybe you had to watch it back then.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. But I keep being like, but I love the movies, so I don't know. Right. It's one of those things that it's gonna like. We watched Blue Velvet. My girlfriend got me Blue Velvet because we've been trying to watch all those movies as well, and I'd never seen that one. And we're finished watching it, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, but I know I need to watch it a whole bunch more times. I'm like compelled to like try to understand this confusing thing. And then I read some interview where David Lynch said something about how he wants things to feel like a dream. Everything's just a little off. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense because everything he makes just feels like that's kind of normal. But then this happened, and suddenly now we're in this other room. Like, right. It does feel dreamlike.
That's cool. It's got to be hard to pull that off and make it work.
Yeah.
Make it good. I feel like if I was making movies, I would like to make some really weird shit, abstract shit. And like, I like contrasts, like a nice, beautiful sunny day, creepy music, just ominous, like what's going on here? Like just playing with people's like senses and confusing them. But I know if I like went and tried in practice, it would probably come off really cheesy and like, you got to put in a lot of work, which is again, like with the little time I have to do this and that, another thing adding on. It's like pick something and stick with it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's like anything. You're gonna like that thing I was saying earlier. You're gonna need practice time to be doing that particular discipline, and it's gonna take you a while to get up to your own taste, the level of your own taste, because your skill is just not gonna meet that level of whatever that discipline is. Like I've written some music for some video. I've written some little things for some TV spots and stuff like that. And that's fine because it's the little silly pieces of music. But I wrote something for a short film that it's funny. I was thinking about it this morning and I was like, it was for this this thing called the 48-hour film project where people make a film really fast. And looking back on it, I'm like, my music that I wrote for it sucks. I think it's amateur, because I hadn't had enough time, not to make that one, but I haven't made enough of them. I haven't made enough of them to go, oh, these things that I'm doing are self-indulgent, not a good way. These things aren't serving the piece, and that discipline isn't honed at all because I'm honing a different discipline. So I got it to be like, well, I guess making death metal records is the discipline that I'm going to spend the most time on, or whatever, so I don't know.
What are you working on musically right now?
Well, we got that Sexless Marriage EP that we're going to record this weekend. It's 3 songs. Stomach Earth. I'm working on another full length. And as far as writing, that's kind of all I've been thinking about lately. And there's some other projects that just need to be cleaned up and mixed and stuff. I have another project called Dualitist that's like an electronic thing that I've never released. It's been sitting on a hard drive for a decade, and it needs to just see the light of day and move on.
Yeah.
It's like it's hard to describe. It's like weird vocoder vocals, songs about sci-fi nerd shit.
Nice. I always wanted to try something completely out of my wheelhouse because it's always just been like guitar, drums, bass, and now I have drums at my disposal that sound amazing thanks to technology. But it's like I could also make a different kind of music other than heavy music. But as soon as I sit down, though, I pick up a guitar and I start writing heavy riffs, and that's what feels good. So that's what I do. But one day I'll try to create some weird shit. I also don't have like a keyboard or anything to fuck with. So I need to get another instrument or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is fun to play with electronic sounds a lot because they're totally different starting points, because like they make sounds that my guitar cannot make. So they make me think about sounds differently, so
that's a good point. I need to get the guitar out of my hands and my hands on something else, and that would put me in a different headspace, I'm sure.
Sometimes not holding an instrument at all is a great way to start. Because I definitely, if I pick up my guitar, I'm thinking about what I can do with my guitar, and it's almost like a, stops me from other ideas that I might do if I wasn't holding the guitar. Like the second I start adding guitar to something, I start thinking in this one little, I close the walls in a little bit more on myself. But if I'm thinking without holding anything and I'm just imagining things, then maybe I'm imagining something that isn't limited to, 24 frets or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. That's true. And also just like, I notice even if I just I'll go into I use STL tones. So I'll go in and just find a new, like a person's name I don't know. And I'll go pick one of theirs that's called something weird. And it'll be like a clean tone with some really cool delays and stuff. And just that gets me out of my usual, like, get the distortion out of there.
It's really, it's really fun to be like, why would this guy use this octave pedal with this tone? And you're like, and you start messing around.
And I'm like, and I'm just on the high frets going do do do, and all of a sudden 10 minutes go by, and I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. But I never record it and make anything with it. I just go, okay, back to. So I need to do that and commit to something different.
Try making something. Try attempting to fail on purpose. Be like, I'm going to make something that sucks. Yeah. And you might end up being like, wait a minute, that's accidentally good. I was trying to make something that sucks and I didn't.
I love that. That's the best way to fucking approach, especially with something new. You're not like you don't really care about this. Let me just go fucking suck and make a piece of shit. And
it'll make you, it'll free you from anything, from any constraints that you put on yourself. Cause it'll just be like, well, it doesn't have to be good because I'm trying to make something bad. And then you go, oh, wow. I ended up, this isn't very good, but I did something I've never done before. And I'm going to try that idea again later. You know, I've never used this tone to do that before. Like, I'm going to have a blast beat, but it's going to be all clean guitar, playing this. And then you're like, wait a minute, it's like you were saying about singing over the part that would be yelled. And you're like, wait a minute, this is awesome. Yeah. This is not what we would do, but it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to remember that too. Is like when I'm doing things now, is like, that was a good idea. I had always tried the opposite of what your obvious go-to is.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah. Anything that gets you out of your usual, I think, is good to go, like, to try stuff, Anything that you wouldn't normally do is going to spark something, like jam with somebody else. And I'm like, oh, Greg's riff. Yeah. I would never write that, but now I got ideas I never would have had. So
yeah. Have you guys gotten together for Red Chord stuff at all?
Not in a while. With Charn gone, We did whatever show we did. Oh, we played in Colorado. We did the Decibel Fest that was last year, beginning of December. And then then Churn went off to do In Flame stuff, and we've been Greg and I have been doing Sexless Marriage, working on those riffs. And
Yeah, I listened to that yesterday. It's pretty sick.
oh, thanks. Yeah, and Guy has another band that he's been jamming with.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he talked about it already, so I don't think I'm making saying it for him. But yeah, he's singing in a hardcore band that has Kevin, our old guitar player. It's
Nice.
cool. It's called Justifications. It's like heavy, straightforward stuff. It sounds great. It's
I
two
always wanted
guitars.
to try to write hardcore, like straight up hardcore. I've never done it, and I go too far with the metal side. So,
Yeah.
it'd be fun to try.
Yeah. See if you can. That's another good starting point. Be like, I'm just gonna make something because if I know that if I try to make something with something in mind, it doesn't come out that way, like for the most part. Like if I try to make, there's Red Chord songs where I was like, I'm trying to do this, and it didn't come out that way, like I'm trying to write a straightforward song, and it's like, well, it didn't come out straightforward. It's just something happened along the way that, happens, I guess, when you write stuff.
Right. Do you usually do like a good chunk of the writing on your own and bring it to the guys, or how do you guys work as a group?
We all like we spend time on our own, and then like these days bring it to like we've done, every record's been a little different, but kind of everything we do now is sort of like, oh, I came up with some ideas, and now we'll get together and sort of noodle on those. Or today we'll work on your song and you have a couple ideas, or I'm stuck on this. What do you think I should do? And then, that's kind of how Greg and I work that way mostly now. We're like, oh, I have this idea and I don't know what to do next. And then the other person brings their flavor to it, and that kind of twists it into its own thing.
Do you find personally when you're like writing a song, I always, for some reason, I always start off somewhere near the beginning, or at least it turns out that way. Then I work my way out.
Yeah.
And for some reason, my Achilles heel, and the worst part is I always get stuck, whatever the bridge is, when the something should change before you kind of bring it towards it. I always get stuck there, and I hate bridges. And I've always just like, that's the worst thing for me to write.
Well, sometimes when I have those problems, I just use I lean on a couple of tricks that other people have done. Sometimes I'm like, well, the old thrash trick is you play the same riff a whole step up, or you switch to a whole step, the Slayer trick, you switch to a whole step to play a different riff, modulate a step, or modulate a riff a step and a half. So 3 intervals, and then change that riff. So that's something I did. Like Greg was like, I don't know what to do with this. And I was like, do this trick that I do. Take the riff, modulate it, a step and a half up, and then alter it there. And then I guarantee even if that's not what you want to do, that's gonna like release the tension, and you're gonna be able to come up with more ideas from there, because it'll bring you to another place. It tends to work for me. I don't always do the thing I'm doing, but I'm like, oh, now I have different ideas. Okay, that modulation, step and a half modulation always feels, especially if it's a melodic part, always feels like intense.
I'll have to try that. I think I've tried like a step before, but never a step and a half.
Amorphous did it a lot on Tales from the Thousand Lakes. They have the thing with the chords underneath, and they'll have a melody over the top. And then towards the end of the song, they'll modulate a step and a half up. And then you're like, oh, wow, it's even more intense now. And that's kind of how the song will wrap sometimes.
That's cool.
Yeah, Tales from the Thousand Lakes, they do it a ton. They do it on like a lot of the songs. And that's where I originally started stealing that idea from. But a lot of other bands do it too.
Have you guys ever worked with like a producer when you're in the studio, has helped you with structuring or anything?
The Red Chord's never done that. We've given people producer credit before. But yeah, we always show up basically songs pretty much intact. Sometimes people will have input, but never on structure.
Mm.
Other bands, a couple times, people have had some good stuff who didn't really get producer credit, but Wear Your Wounds and Umbra Vitae both. We recorded with Kurt Ballou, and Kurt's had some great, insight that I'm just like, oh, he's like, why don't you do this? And I'm like, oh, of course, that's a great idea. And then I, listen to him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I haven't really worked in like a producer capacity. I don't think I could. I think I'm too picky about stuff. The producer would have to be somebody in the band, or it'd have to be somebody I've been working with for a long, long time. I have a hard time listening to people if I haven't already worked with them a lot and really know where they're coming from.
Yeah. We never really did it that way, but like when we did our last record, the one we broke up on, we had, in our mind, the songs were done when we got there, but we did a pre-production, recorded the first day we were there. So then we kind of listened to it with him, and he was like, you can take this or leave it, like just throw out some ideas. So I think it ended up being like maybe 5% of on things, on just little things here and there where we agreed like, oh yeah, we could have like flushed that out a little more. But
right.
I think that experience for me was the first time being in like a real studio and hearing just the way he talked about music compared to just the guys I've been with in the basement with for however long. That I learned a lot on how to, like, if you're stuck on something, kind of like I was talking, pull one little piece of a riff you did earlier, flip it backwards, or just use that piece repeated, and just like little things that'll still make it feel like the same song rather than like, oh, we need to write a completely different part. And so it really helped me. And that was like 2008. So that all those little like tips and just like his advice stuck with me all these years.
Yeah, that is good advice. We sort of figured that we're like starting to figure out that type of thing when we were writing together, but didn't really know what we were doing. Just kind of like, oh, this works. And what if we just play all the riffs one by one at the end, like, which we do in one song. And then I started like listening to film scores and thinking about what film composers are doing. And they're basically writing like 3 motifs and spreading them out over the whole movie. There's like, or TV shows or whatever. Characters have themes sometimes, maybe every, it's like, especially these days as films have less and less music in them, like old school stuff, there's music the whole movie, but like currently, the movies come out and there'll be like big gaps of time where there's silence, which is good. But like, characters there'll be a couple themes. There'll be like the main sort of theme. There'll be this main character has a theme, and there'll be like some other emotional theme. And then they often are split up into little cues that are just versions of that same motif. So when as a kid or when I was younger, I remember being like, wow, there's so much you have to do to write a film score. And I'm like, you have to write like a few motifs and spread them out and make them fit. So realistically, it's not as much work as you think it is. There's more work in the like orchestration or whatever if you're using, acoustic orchestra or something. But it's funny because like it's metal, classical music, everything it always appears like a lot more complicated than it is. It's really just a lot of little pieces, It's just a puzzle with a lot of little pieces. And when it's all together, you're like, wow. But I think even when we write music, we can feel that we can listen to someone else's music and be like, wow, how did you come up with that? Listen to all that. Well, the same way that we do, like one little piece at a time,
Yeah. Or like, how do you remember all that? And I'm like, I don't even know. You just do. I don't have the best memory. Like, it's just, I don't know. I think it's because you like it so much and it's so important to you. Like, because like our songs were the same way. It was mostly like almost nothing repeated, just riff, 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 riff. And I like taking that now, the essence of that mindset, but doing it a little smarter, but still keeping the chaos and like that raw vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. But you have a matured approach to it where you go, well, now the spirit of that is there, but I know more now. Now I know more about writing, so I can apply that. That's what I think is super fun. And one thing I really want to do is I have old demos from when I was like 16 or whatever. Death metal project. I had my own solo death metal project because nobody would play death metal with me, called Viral Anomaly. And I wrote like a 4-song demo and recorded it on my friend's 4-track. And I played the drums really poorly on it. And what I want to do is a gift. I want to give a gift to myself, my 16-year-old self, and record those songs with my abilities now. That's
awesome.
make the thing that 16-year-old me wanted to hear but couldn't make. So I'm thinking at some point I'm going to unearth that demo and relearn those songs and just be like, do something nice for cool. Past Mike, who's not around to hear it. But
it's almost sad, but it's like you're sitting right here. It's so funny.
Yeah,
it made me go, aw.
Yeah, I think it would be a fun project, and then also make a version, like make this, and then like write the songs that Mike wanted to write but didn't have the ability to. So like I'll record those songs, and then I'll be like, and here's what he was trying to write, but didn't really have the skills or the chops yet. So now, and it just be, again, just a fun thing for me to make, as I, achieving that state of play, just having fun.
That's really cool. I wish I had some stuff that was that old to do the same thing. That's such a great idea.
I don't know if this tape is going to play or not, but it was in my mom's garage and maybe it'll play. We'll see. I haven't played it yet. It's a 4-track master tape, and the 4-track is like really banged up, so I haven't tried to play it yet. We'll see what happens.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
So what else do you have coming up before we start to wrap this up here? Anything you want to tell people about?
We have what do we have? We have an EP, the Sexless Marriage EP we're working on. This weekend, we're playing a show, but that'll be, people will hear this after the show. We're playing with I Hate God and at Widowmaker, same place that we played together. And yeah, it's great. And the people that run it are awesome. I Hate God and a band called Swamphead. And we're working on this EP, Sexless Marriage. I'm kind of ramping up Twitch a little bit this summer. Gonna do more music streams on there. Yeah, that's kind of it at the moment. I'm sort of regrouping after a busy season of freelance work.
I forgot when I looked at your Instagram bio how many projects you've been in with Where Your Wounds To, and is it Umbra Vitae? Is that how you pronounce it?
Umbra Vitae.
Vitae.
Yeah, I mean that, I don't know how to say it. Umbra Vitae. I think it's that. It's a Latin term.
That sounds cooler. We
can say it however we like.
Yeah.
Yeah. That band is kind of on hold at the moment as well because Charn is the drummer and he's on tour with the Flames for years.
He's always busy.
He's a very busy guy. Yeah. We'll do more with that eventually, I'm sure. Where Your Wounds, I think we'd all like to make more music with that project. Converge just put out 2 records, so I'm not sure if Jake will have a lot of time to do that right now, but he's a total maniac, and he's just always moving. So if I sent him a demo, he'd probably be like, all right, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they were recording Converge stuff for that record, like on the road. Like they're constantly moving.
I did not have 2 Converge records this year on my bingo card. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I didn't know they had 2 either. They were like, oh, surprise, here's another record.
That's so cool.
Yeah. They're doing a lot, but I think everybody in that band wants to do that again. So we've got some ideas. I've got some like demos floating around and we want to try more stuff. I'm always just wanting to make more, have more fun. And that band's really fun. Just dudes making noise.
Fuck yeah, dude. And so your Twitch, Patreon, Instagram, everything is just Knighted Throne, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same everywhere.
Yeah.
The only thing that I have that's not that is my YouTube channel, which is Stomach Earth. Just because I made it so long ago. But I don't post a lot there. I probably will post more. I'll probably post more guitar videos.
There's just such a pain in the ass to make sometimes when you're doing everything yourself.
Yeah. I'm trying to make stuff. I'm trying to like batch make stuff a little bit more so that I'm not like
That's smart.
stopping what I'm doing all the time to make a video for something. And, you know, there's something that Jake does that I got to be more on top of. He's like, I'm spending all day making these promo videos for the record, and that's what I'm doing today. And then they're done, you know, and they'll come out. There's like clips or whatever, but I don't have to go back and look at that unless I need to change something.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're like,
I'm very bad at that. I'm like, today's podcast, and then I'll do the clips on this day. And then wait, I'd like to do a playthrough video. So I'm like mixing everything, and then it's just all over the place.
You're moving gear around. Yeah. Yeah. That I'm trying to batch stuff more. So I'm like, well, this is the day I record a bunch of guitar stuff, or this is the day I'm whatever, if it's social media related. So I'm way behind on all that stuff right now. I got to catch up this coming month.
Awesome, dude. Well, I really appreciate you doing this. It's good to see you and hang out for a little bit. I can't believe it's been like 2 years since that was the show. I just realized
I know that was that September, right? Was it September?
It was summer of 2024, right?
Yeah, so it was like end of August, September. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same year. Yeah, 2024. That's nuts. We're already halfway through this one.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Like time, like the old guy saying is true. Time just flies when you get old and everything starts hurting. But
yeah, everything hurts and the time passes faster and things hurt more.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. This is fun.
Yeah, man. We'll have to do it again sometime. Everybody, if you made it to the end with us and you're enjoying the show, remember to hit me with subscribe, like. If you're on Apple and Spotify, remember to rate the show. That's a big one that will help me out. And thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.